I took a full month off of my business so that I could go travel, and I still made over $45,000 in sales. Here's how I did it. So last month, I basically took the whole month off so I could travel to England with my kids and family and have a really fun holiday. But beyond the fun and the photo reel, I wanted to show you what it really looks like to take that much time off of your business. A big reason why I've designed my business the way I have is because I have this deep need for adventure and freedom and ability to travel and work from anywhere. But that comes with some prep work. So what did it look like for me to be away for that long? What did I have to set up in my business so that it could keep running without me? I'm gonna break it down for you in 3 parts. All right, part number 1 was the prep work. This was the couple weeks leading up to the trip. Whether your trip is 1 week, 4 weeks, or 4 months, there's going to be prep work involved, right? And these are very busy and full weeks because not only are you carrying on with business as usual, but you're also trying to get ahead for the time that you're going to be away. So for me, what this looks like is business as usual, but then also prepping any deliverables that are going to be going out to my program, The Passive Project, while I'm away. So whether that's new content, new tools, recordings from me, contributions to a digital magazine that we produce, I need to get all of that done ahead of time. I also schedule out any posts or anything that needs to go out in my student communities. I get those all scheduled before I leave for my travels as well. I also batch record videos for YouTube that get repurposed for my podcast so that I can continue with my content marketing even while I'm away. We usually try and produce 1 new video a week or 1 new podcast episode a week. So those all have to get recorded ahead of time. I also try and tie up any loose ends, like any projects that are maybe 3/4 of the way there or emails that have been sitting in my inbox. I like to leave for my trips with things being, as off my plate as possible and as complete as possible. So I'll really make an effort to kind of clear the decks. I also check in with my paid ads team. We run paid ads for my business. So I check in before I leave if there's any new creative or content or items that they need from me in order to keep things running smoothly while I'm away. I'll make sure that that's happened before I go. I also hand over all Instagram prep and management for while I'm away. I don't want to be checking in on the Instagram platform while I'm gone, and so really want to make sure that that's handled by a team member. And I get my babies, my email newsletters that I send to my list. This is pretty much my favorite thing that I get to do in business. I get those written before leaving, but I will say that I tend not to get them 100% done. I'll get them 90% there and have them formatted and ready to go in my email service platform, but I don't actually fully schedule them to send. And I'm gonna explain why in a minute. The other thing that I do during this time is just simply look at my calendar for the time that I'm gonna be away and look at, okay, what are all the things that must get done in that time? And then pull them out and make sure to either prep them ahead of time if I need to do them, delegate them if I can, or simply take them off the list, right? Maybe there are going to be some things that are just going to get moved until when I get back. Further, if I have any calls booked for while I'm away, I move those off my calendar too. When I'm traveling, I really want to have no scheduled calls or things that I need to show up for at a given time. So I'll make sure to remove those from the calendar, either bringing them and doing them before I leave for the trip or pushing them until when I get back. So that's part 1. Part 2 is what happens while I'm actually traveling. So the trip that I just went on was a true family trip. It was my husband and I, and even my parents. We brought my 2 kids. We were doing things every single day. We were exploring, visiting with family and friends, going on adventures, and it really meant that there was no room in our day to work, right? This wasn't kind of a working holiday where we were just somewhere else and had childcare. No, we were on 24/7. So my bandwidth to do anything in the business while we were on this trip was very, very small. What I did do was sneak in about 15 to 30 minutes a day. Typically, I would do this when in the afternoon we had come back from doing some sort of activity. The kids needed downtime anyway, so I could pull out my laptop, have a cup of tea, and really make it some nice kind of alone me time, and I was happy to check in on the business. And there were 3 main things that I did while I was away. Number 1 is I would check my email inbox. basically, if there were just emails from my team members that I knew needed a response and I could just respond to them quickly, I did that. Number 2 is my email newsletters. Remember how I said I got them to 90% complete? Well, the reason is because I really love my email newsletters to my list to feel in real time, right? So even though they were almost there, I would go into those newsletters and just add maybe some real-time like information, some updates from our trip, things like that, and add that into the newsletter and then schedule them to send. And then the last thing was showing up for my students. So I have 2 main programs, Course Creator School and the Passive Project. Inside of Course Creator School, we usually do a weekly coaching call on Tuesday afternoons. Instead of doing them as calls while I was traveling, I did it as like a written coaching opportunity, kind of like office hours, where they could ask questions and I would be in there giving my answers, but it didn't have to happen at a specific time over live video. So I would do that every Tuesday while I was away. I would still hop in and answer questions. And then similarly in my Passive Project student community, even though I have a coaching team in there answering a lot of questions, I would still pop in every couple of days and just make sure that I was still present in that community too. I think over the course of the whole trip, I hopped onto Instagram 2, maybe 3 times. I really tried to disconnect fully from social media while I was away, which frankly felt amazing. And I will say one of the reasons that I'm able to disconnect as much as I can and still have the business running without me is because I have some incredible team members. I have someone who manages our email inbox if students or customers or audience members are writing in. I have a project manager for my Passive Project program and a coaching team in there so that they can make sure that students feel really cared for and that deliverables and things are coming out as they should be. And I also have someone that I'm able to hand off my Instagram management to, which is a dream. If I didn't have those team members, I would need to do one of 2 things. Either I would need to prep even more and make sure things were totally ready and kind of automated to go out, or I would have to let some things go, right? I would just have to reduce the expectations of whether it's my students or audience on me showing up and just really kind of close the doors for that time in a bigger way. And in terms of the revenue that I made during the month of May while I was away, we grossed 45,000 USD in sales that month. And that really, I was doing no live promotions. It really came from a couple of things. Number 1 were payment plans or subscription charges for my 2 programs, Course Creator School and the Passive Project. So those are things that I've built up and stacked over time. So that was expected revenue coming into the business. And then the other sales that were made through my automated evergreen funnels that I have set up in my business. So we have funnels running to my Course Creator School program and now to the Passive Project as well. So those were continually making sales while I was away, allowing me to be able to really dial down the pressure of me being out there and marketing and making sales, because all of that is built out in the back end of my business. And part 3 to this is the coming home, right? After I came back from that really wonderful trip, it kind of takes me a few days to recalibrate and get back into business mode. Some of the first things that I do is, number 1, tackle my email inbox. Make sure that if there are some really long outstanding emails that I need to get back to, I will try and kind of clear the decks of my inbox. The second thing is I'm usually behind in my content planning for the following month when I get back from a trip like that, because I will have planned everything for while I was away, but then I get back and, life is still moving and I still want to be out there putting new content out into the world. And so usually one of the first things I have to do is do some batch prep of content for the upcoming month. And then really I just need to get my head back in the game. Usually I'll take a day to look at my calendar, plan out content, plan out promotions, think about the calls that I have coming up, and sketch out my top priorities. Because if I can have my to-do list might be really long when I get home of projects and ideas and things that I want to tackle. So I need to get them into some sort of priority list so that I can get back into business mode. And that's it. That's how I took almost a full month off of my business and had it still work for me and run without me. For me, being able to take time away from my business is really important for my mental health and my happiness and just my family life. But it's also really cool to be able to take your business on the road. So if you're wanting to really create a business that allows you to work from anywhere, that's the dream, right? And you get to decide how much or how little that looks like. So this trip for us was really like a full-on trip. We were busy every single day. There are other times where we will, for example, in the summer, go away to cottages for weeks at a time, but our kids are still in care, like they are usually at some sort of day camp. And so we're able to have more hours in the day to keep working. And so we're able to get more done in my business while still being away from home. So whether the trip you're taking is 7 days or 7 months, there are some key questions that you can ask yourself to help you prepare for it. Number one, are you fully gonna disconnect from your business, like really not check into anything? Or are there some activities that you are okay to keep doing while you're away? Question number two is what needs to be cleared from your calendar? Really look at that calendar and remove anything that is scheduled for the time that you're away. Number three is what tasks can you get done before leaving for your trip? So whether that's batch preparing some content, preparing some deliverables that are gonna go out to your students or your clients, whatever that looks like, what can you get done ahead of time? Yes, it might mean putting your head down and having some really busy couple of weeks beforehand, but it's gonna feel really nice when you're away and you can know that all of those things are already done. Number four is what tasks can you delegate to someone else to manage while you are away? Even if this is to a VA or a part-time person that you work with, what is it that you can delegate? And the last question is, what tasks can you let go of? Maybe it's letting go of them forever, but maybe it's just letting go of the timeline that you had originally thought about doing those tasks in and simply pushing them off until you get back. Like I say to my team, there's never an emergency in online business, right? We're not paramedics or surgeons. There's nothing that is that critically important in online business. And it's okay if timelines and goals that you set shift a little bit. That's just life. I would rather prioritize being able to travel and do the things that I really want to do if it means, shifting a couple things in my business. So I would love to hear from you. Are you going on any trips? And what is it that you do to prepare to travel and be maybe away from your business? Either leave a comment here, send me a DM, tag me on Instagram at gemma.bonham-carter. I would love to hear from you. And if you want to learn how to launch an online course so that you can build this same kind of business model that I have that allows for that freedom and flexibility, I encourage you to come check out a free training that I've created just for you, GemmaBonhamCarter.com/class. It's about 60 minutes, could be a huge game changer for you and your business. I'll see you next time.